Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to be reacting to extreme things that Naruto fans have done. You know, the Naruto fans are the notorious for being crazy and doing delusional thinking Naruto's better than Bleach, but, let's see what they do.
Broken by the death of his favorite character, commits an act with devastating consequences. A gang dressed up as the criminal group Akatsuki shocked.
There's legit a gang dressed up as the Akatsuki's, bro. That's just when you think you see it all, bro. Just when you think you see it all, bro, you see stuff like this.
Their entire community with something completely unthinkable. A 10-year-old child role-playing a popular character with his friends never makes it back home. These are no urban legends. They're chilling, real-life stories that'll leave you questioning just how far love for an anime can take someone, from heartwarming to utterly horrifying. Starting with a boy whose obsession turned into something that would not only haunt his family, but the entire world.
What did he do?
In 2012, 14-year-old Leonid Milev was just your average fan of the series. But one day, his life would all come crashing down. His parents would be devastated from the misfortune they experienced. They blamed the Naruto series for the pain they had to go through as a result of their beloved.
Look, you know, I don't know what he did yet because he hasn't explained yet. But whatever he did that was tragic, blaming it on the series is crazy to me. Because I'll be honest, you're the parent. You should be, you should hold yourself accountable for taking care and being responsible for your own child. So whatever he did, bro, don't blame the series because the series has no control over your actual kid. Yes, it influenced him and whatnot, but you're the parent. Like you should be control. I mean, not necessarily controlling, but you should be at least aware and acknowledge what you let your kids. What you know what I'm trying to say. Like what you let your kids watch. But let's see what he did.
Son's actions. You see, Leonid was from Tchaikovsky, a small town in the heart of Russia. It's an unassuming industrial town that was founded during the Cold War. Hence, this town is made up of tall apartment blocks, 24/7 factories, and power plants all crammed together. It's good for the industry, but for a child, such a depressing town could push them to the edge. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that the children there look elsewhere for their entertainment. And so, for Leonid, Naruto was his escape. It was a show he loved to watch. The vast world of ninjas, magical beasts, and action-packed adventure drew him in, and ever since he was little, he looked forward to finding out how it would end. Sadly, he would never get to see it. Many boys his age liked the show, but he was different. The problem was Leonid didn't just like the show, he adored it, so much so that he became obsessed with it. He felt as if the struggles they faced reflected his own life, almost like it was made just for him, and thus the line between reality and imagination drew thin.
Bro, that type of obsession over something like that, over something fictional, that's when shit gets dangerous because you can't really distinguish the two between reality and imagination. And if you can't if you can't separate the two, bro, and you just combine it, it messes up your actual reality, and you start doing like crazy stuff that you really shouldn't be doing.
Slowly but surely, Leonid eventually lost his sanity. Thus, when his favorite character died, he took drastic and deadly measures.
His favorite character was Itachi.
Most of us, a character in a show dying is quite trivial. But to Leonid, this wasn't just a fictional story.
By far right here, Pain, Naruto, by far the best villain in Naruto. And I'm gonna be honest, he's the most powerful Akatsuki member. Not including Obito, obviously. If you include Obito, Obito's more powerful. But, it's my favorite character, bro. And I'm be honest, bro. Bite me in the comments. He's beating Prime Sasuke. I'm just saying. Prime Sasuke, even with Sasuke with the Rinnegan, ain't beating this man, bro. And what we won, no.
These characters were closer to his heart than his own friends. Because of this, when his favorite character, Itachi, was killed, he couldn't take it anymore. He felt the same pain as someone would if they lost their own brother. So when he awoke the next morning, he posted a terrifying goodbye message to his social media and left. Apartment blocks were everywhere in his town, so finding one was easy. This was the end. He knew there was no coming back. For that reason, he picked an exceptionally tall one. It was over 100 feet. And thus,
wait, hold on, what?
In his town. So finding one was a message to his social media and
nah, bro. He ended his life, bro. Nah, bro. I'm gonna be honest, bro. He was going through something, bro. Like he was going through something, man. Damn.
Apartment blocks were everywhere in his town, so finding one was easy. This was the end. He knew there was no coming back. For that reason, he picked an exceptionally tall one. It was over 100 feet, and thus, as he slowly climbed the stairs of the block, he thought about Itachi one last time. He knew he would see him soon. Meanwhile, his parents had just discovered his ominous goodbye message. They were shocked and feared the worst. They tried to find him, but couldn't. This meant a search party had to be launched. They looked everywhere, but to no avail, until 2 days later when they found his body. His parents couldn't.
Damn.
They knew something was wrong, but not in their wildest dreams could they comprehend how wrong. They tried everything to get him away from that TV, and now they were too late. Can you imagine the pain they felt, watching day by day their beloved son going further and further into instability, and to then see the horrific sight no parent should have to ever witness? Many of you are probably thinking how someone is able to do such a tragic act just because of a character from an anime, but it's clear to see that Itachi's end wasn't the main factor. There were issues behind the scenes.
Bro, you know what's so sad, bro? Itachi comes back too. Like, obviously, as a reincarnation, he comes back too near the end, and he actually is a big part of helping Naruto, stop the whole war arc. Bro, he's literally a big factor. Damn, bro, this sucks.
Questioned, his grieving father said, "I always told him he spent too much time watching the TV. He didn't know what was reality and what was fiction anymore." However, this true story comes with a hint of dark irony. If young Leonid had just kept watching, he'd have found out that Itachi comes back to life and has a major story arc with his brother Sasuke. His end was a tragic one, but sadly, it's not the worst. One Naruto fan had an even more horrific death. But first, let's talk about a group of guys that were inspired by the show to go around as a certain organization. Even though for much of Naruto, Itachi and the Akatsuki were the bad guys, not everyone sees them that way. Some fans actually wanted to become the Akatsuki, but not in the way you'd expect. Also in the year 2012, in a small village in East Java, Indonesia.
Bro, I saw on TikTok these Akatsuki like rings, bro, like the actual rings that each different member had, bro. I was thinking of buying the Nagito one or the Itachi one, like one of because each Itachi member has like a ring that's like you know different from each other because it's like basically it's like I don't know, so it's like their own personal ring. Is what I'm trying to say. I was looking thinking of getting one because I saw these rings on TikTok, but I don't even know if the quality's good.
The Akatsuki became real. In Naruto, they're a group of criminals. They want to destroy the very fabric of the society they're in. These guys in Java were different. 2012 was a big year for Naruto fans, and the show was at the height of its popularity. Therefore, many people were inspired by the
Damn, bro, look at the amount of sales, 6 million.
heroic deeds of the characters. And thus, cosplays, conventions, and all-around Naruto-inspired craziness were popular. Some, though, took things to a whole new level to transform their country. The rugged mountainous land of East Java is a spectacular place. From its dense jungles to pristine beaches, some would call it paradise. However, underneath the surface, things aren't always what they seem. Despite its beauty, Indonesia has many problems, from poverty to pollution. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And so, a group of Naruto fans decided to take matters into their own hands to fix it. If you're wondering, why would a group of good Samaritans
There's no way, bro. They actually form a real life Akatsuki, bro. There's no way, and they're a gang too.
name themselves after a group of villains? Well, to understand that, you have to understand the Akatsuki's origins. They weren't always bad guys, and in the show, they actually started out with a dream of fixing their broken country. But things got messy, and they eventually became corrupt through manipulation. The real-life Akatsuki, though, were determined not to make that mistake. Thus, inspired by the Akatsuki's vision, a group of noble Naruto fans came together and formed the Akatsuki Afkar. They started out as a political party with the hopes of bringing their community together and fixing the problems that
They even
but it was
dressed
no
as
easy
the
task.
Akatsuki.
East Java struggles with high pollution, overpopulation, and government corruption. To make matters worse, the country's varied geography is an issue. Since Indonesia is made up of many islands, trade and the distribution of resources isn't so straightforward. This results in inequality. So although the Akatsuki Afkar wanted to make a change on a political level, they realized that was pretty unrealistic. After all, can you really imagine an anime political party being very successful? But that didn't matter. They could
That would be
still make
tough,
a
though.
difference. They diverted their attention to helping people on the ground level. They set out to help orphans, raise money for local mosques, and even provide interest-free loans. In no time, word spread of their deeds, and the group became well-known all over Indonesia. Other members flocked to join their
Damn, then what's the problem with this though? I don't see a problem. Bro, it's gonna get to the problem, but like so far they're doing good stuff. I'm not even lying to you, but I already know it's gonna like go crashing down.
cause and contributed to their efforts. In the end, their actions sent ripples across the land and even overseas. Other Akatsuki fans with good hearts from around the world decided to don their red and black robes and help out
That's
their
tough.
communities.
That's tough.
It's safe to say that their mission was a success.
Bro,
Not only
see,
the Akatsuki-
anime isn't all bad, bro. Like, there's good stuff, bro. There's good stuff like this.
Naruto, they managed to remain the good guys. Naruto is known for its puzzling fans, and it's cool to see them doing good. However, as we've seen, that's not always the case. Sometimes copying the show goes horribly wrong, even ending in death. It was the year 2008. In Washington State, USA, a terrible accident had occurred. A group of kids met up for a regular playdate, as any kids do. But this playdate turned into a disaster. It would scar the survivors for life. After all, they were only 10 years old. Before we get into the tragic accident that cost the boy his life, let's look at the events that led up to it. On a normal, bright, and sunny day, the group of friends had met up at one of their houses. It was the weekend, and they'd been looking forward to it all week. But in the days leading up to it, there was a simple dilemma they talked about during school. What games would they play? It was March, and the winter was just coming to an end. Still, Washington's weather can get pretty unpredictable. It rains a lot, so they had to prepare for that. So they decided that if it rained, they'd watch TV shows. But if it was sunny, they'd play in the backyard. Most of all, they wanted to play in the brand new sandpit one of their friends just got built in their yard. After eagerly awaiting the weekend, they were in luck. The sun was shining, and so the boys were playing in the backyard. Like many boys in their age group, they liked sports, cartoons, and playing video games. But lately, they found a new passion: Naruto. Anime was fairly new to the US market, and kids were obsessed. It was something new. It was special. Naruto specifically appealed to boys, as it wasn't just fun, it was exhilarating to act like the deadly ninjas from the show. And thus,
Bro, shout out to Cartoon Network, bro. I don't know what other channels were streaming Naruto, but I know Cartoon Network was a big one, especially Toonami, bro. They used to put people on to one of the best animes, bro. BBC, DBZ, Naruto, Tokyo Ghoul, My Hero Academia, Mob 100. Damn, JoJo Bizarre, bro. Toonami was stacked, bro. I miss Toonami.
school playgrounds were filled with kids, Naruto running, practicing hand signs, and pretending to be ninjas. It was all fun and games, most of the time. You'd think that the backyard of a friend's house would be one of the safest places for kids to play, but on this occasion, it wasn't. And it was because one of them was fascinated with a character called Gaara. So the day of the playdate came, and after playing a few games, the boys started to speak about Naruto. They argued about who their favorite characters were, and which abilities of the characters were
Don't tell me he did. Bro, you know I'm gonna let the video play.
their favorites. One of the boys started to explain why Gaara was his favorite. His argument was that his ability to manipulate sand was cooler than the rest. But after he said that, they paused, and slowly, their heads turned towards the sand pit. Grinning, one of the boys asked, why don't you try and be Gaara? Since Gaara was always covered in sand, which acted as his shield, this was a perfect opportunity to recreate the character. It was the height of the afternoon, around 2 p.m., and they surrounded the sand pit. The Gaara fan nervously anticipated how this was going to work. After all, the sand pit was only about a foot deep. One of the friends suggested he goes head first, and for whatever reason, he agreed. Who knows what he was thinking, but that's easy to say now. With his head in the sand, the other boys made sure to cover the rest of his body. They were entirely focused on how to submerge him, but they didn't realize something was wrong. Thinking that the flailing the boy in the sandpit was doing was simply just a funny joke. And so, when they finally noticed his panic thrashing wasn't just a prank, it was too late. By the time they dug him out, he had stopped breathing. The adults at the house tried their hardest to revive him with CPR, but unfortunately, it was no use. After an emergency evacuation to Seattle, the boy unfortunately passed a few days later. The young boy's name was Cody Porter, and what makes this incident even more tragic is that it was an entirely preventable accident. There were no issues behind the scenes or any malicious intent. This was simply just some young kids having fun. Young kids who never properly understood that the character Gaara uses his sand to gruesomely crush his opponents to death, with a move he calls sand burial. However, this story at least has somewhat of a happy ending, as young Cody's family had decided to donate his organs. These organs would be essential.
Damn. Nah, I'm gonna be honest. Gaara is cold. Gaara is definitely one of my top 5 favorite characters. But damn, bro, this is why you gotta like watch your kids, bro. Like obviously you want your kids to be independent, but at least keep an eye on them, like occasionally, I guess. But damn, that really could have easily been preventable, bro. Damn.
To another young child in critical condition. Although young Cody lost his life, his organs had saved another. This is not the only time that a Naruto fan has
Damn, okay, bro. So far though, the stories he been get. The first one was tragic. The second one I thought was gonna be bad, but it was good because there were Akatsuki members, and they were doing good for the community. That was good. This one, it was tragic, but it had a happy ending. So far it's not terrible. I thought I would have been seeing some crazy stuff, bro. Like a person like straight up being a killer, but so far I haven't seen anything like that.
saved the lives of others, though. There was one man who was so inspired by the show that he became one of sports' biggest stars. And to say thank you, he decided to pay homage to Naruto in one of the most generous ways possible. Jamal Williams isn't just a regular athlete. He competes in one of the toughest sports in the world, the NFL. He says that one of his biggest inspirations was Naruto. This may come as a surprise for some, but for others, it'll make a lot of sense. After all, the football played in the NFL is one of the most unforgiving sports in the world, and Naruto prepared him for it. It gave him what he needed to succeed, and it inspired him to do something very kind. Jamal was raised in the small city of Fontana, California. While it wasn't the most dangerous place in California, it wasn't the safest either. Crime in this part of the country was common, so as a kid, Jamal had a choice to make. Would he focus on his education, or join a gang, or would he do something completely different? Luckily, he chose the last option. Sports would be his passion, but he had a problem. He wasn't very good, so Jamal struggled. It wasn't easy in the beginning, especially since he liked football the most. It's a hard sport anyway, but harder for him since a lot of the kids were bigger and stronger. In the end, his constant defeat on the pitch left him down in the dumps. However, he had a solace: Naruto. For anyone who's watched it, you'll understand why it helped. And so, in his lowest moments, when everything seemed dark, Jamal Williams would think about
Bro, anime really be inspiring people, bro.
the deep lessons in perseverance and
Love to see
resilience
it, love to see
profoundly
it.
resonated with him. He also found he was a lot like the main character, eager but untalented. However, it no longer mattered. Now, Jamal knew, just like Naruto did, that as long as he never gave up, he'd make it. Hence, when it came time to train, he had an edge. As the years went by, he got better and better. He rarely took a day off. By the time he got to high school, he was elite, and he knew what he wanted to do: join the NFL. That was his desire. A goal like that is a fantasy for most people, but for a devoted Naruto fan, it was a purpose worth pursuing. Thus, he became an NFL star, and the rest is history. But now, he was eager to give back to the show that had helped him so much. Therefore, in 2023, he teamed up with the Naruto team to host a charity event. It wasn't just any event, though. It was an auction that was selling exclusive Naruto-themed merchandise, such as Naruto-colored Air Force One sneakers. The money would go to children who have been disadvantaged in life, mainly those who have suffered from food insecurity. In the true spirit of Naruto Uzumaki himself, he was helping those less fortunate to get a leg up in life. To make it even more exciting, the voice of Naruto for the American dub was there, just for the fans. In a statement made during the event, Jamal said, "The stories and principles of Naruto have been hugely influential for me, both on and off the
Bro,
field."
it's crazy to think that Principal Perry, bro. If y'all seen Live Rats, Principal Perry is the same voice actor for dub for Naruto. Now that I went back and watched Live Rats, I can't unhear Naruto's voice when she appears on screen.
Naruto faced a lot of adversity and was able to move beyond that and become this powerful force of positivity and kindness. That's not all, though. He also took the chance to express his love for Naruto and the anime community in general. He said, "Outside of Naruto's impact on my own life, I have so much love for the Naruto and anime communities. These are my people." Jamal Williams was exactly what someone would hope a Naruto fan would be. But sadly, though, not all Naruto fans use the lessons for good. Some take inspiration from the series to commit serious crimes. You won't believe what this guy did with the supposed ninja skills he learned from the series. Back in 2017, a man from Florida, USA, traveled north to the city of Atlanta. But he wasn't going sightseeing, he was there to commit a crime. It wasn't just any crime, though, because as funny as it sounds, this guy came prepared with secret ninja techniques, also known as jutsu. So the criminal's name was Christopher Atkins, and like many others in this video, he was obsessed with Naruto. But unlike others who used the motivation and life lessons from the show to do good, he decided to take the path of evil. While that's a slight exaggeration, he's still a criminal. Christopher loved the show, and like many fans, wanted to become a shinobi, a ninja. However, while most eventually grew out of it, he didn't. For years, just like the character Rock Lee, he practiced, he trained, he studied. Nobody knows the specifics of his ninja training routine,
Did he get
but we
yoked?
do know that he was learning the art of espionage. In other words, how to enter secure places, a ninja's specialty. And thus, when he thought his skills were up to scratch, he made the daring move to put them into action. When the time was right, he left his home in Florida and traveled upstate to Atlanta. His target was, well, Target, a supermarket chain. As he approached the store, he was likely nervous. With his heart pounding, adrenaline coursing through his veins, he advanced.
He went to steal at Target. There's no way you did all that training, bro. I don't for like multiple years just to prepare yourself to steal at Target. Also, what is it with you steal? What is it with people stealing? Like you did training because you love Naruto to prepare to steal. What? That's just lame, bro. You could have done training to like do UFC, do martial arts, but you train and you didn't even actually train. You just I don't even know what kind of training you did to pretend to steal. I don't even, bro. Like, what do you do? How do you train to steal? Like, what?
It was the early hours of the morning and the store was closed. Therefore, the perfect time to strike. In theory, under the cover of night, he made it to the store's entrance. But there was one thing Christopher didn't account for, and it cost him. Ninjas in Naruto never had to worry about security alarms, so there was no way he was prepared for it. And the next thing he knew, he was surrounded by flashing lights and
The thing is, Target isn't always closed. Like, they still have people after hours, I'm pretty sure.
sirens. The police had arrived. It wasn't just the burglar alarm that caused his downfall, though. There was another factor he didn't account for: security cameras. The store's security team had seen him coming on camera before he even made it to the entrance, so it's safe to say he didn't stand a chance. However, to the police, this was just another burglar. So you can imagine their surprise when they interviewed him and he said he was trying to be a ninja. According to Christopher, Naruto had taught him how to be a ninja, and he only wanted to test out his newfound skills. What's strange, though, is that according to him, it was specifically the 5th volume of the Naruto manga he was reading. In that volume, there's almost nothing about burglary or breaking and entering. In fact, most of that volume revolves around the students in Naruto attending a written exam, so it's no wonder he failed. In the end, he was charged with first-degree burglary, and his days as a ninja were over as quick as they began. As crazy as this guy was, though, he's certainly not the craziest. There was one guy who planned to use his ninja skills to infiltrate a top-secret government military base. But before we get to that, let's talk about those that use their abilities for good. Before we get to the next section, if you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to ended. It was the end of an era, but the beginning of a new one. So, as Naruto fans thought of innovative ways to show the world how epic it is, an idea formed. Naruto has many iconic things that any fan would recognize, like the character's ninja headbands or the secret hand signs that most fans have attempted at least once. However, there's something even more legendary, the Naruto run. You've probably seen it. For those who haven't, though, you might be surprised, as it looks pretty weird in real life.
Do y'all remember when people were trying to storm Area 51 by doing a Naruto run?
It's not something you see every day. Unless you were in school when Naruto was popular, then you would have seen it everywhere. Anyway, this run involves bending over with both hands stretched behind your back. As ridiculous as it sounds, that's how the ninjas run in the show. And thus, in 2017, a group of brave fans embarked on a mission to bring it to life. As far as we know, the very first of these runs took place in Singapore. On August 26th, an event was posted to Facebook. To everyone's surprise, a few fearless fans showed up. Check out their devotion.
How are you feeling now?
Very excited. Excited and very
In the end, they survived the embarrassment, but their brave actions inspired others. Not long after, Naruto run events were popping up all over the world. It was now an actual thing. American Naruto fans seemed to like the idea a lot. Here you can see a die-hard Naruto runner explaining the technique.
And then extend your arms to 30-degree angle, 30 degrees, and then you start running.
While these events started out as a joke and a fun way to celebrate the show, not everyone saw them that way. Some fans took it to the next level. At the University of Surrey in the United Kingdom, they made it an official event. Not just any event, though. This is now a yearly thing. That's not all. They even put a positive twist on the whole thing by transforming the run into a charity event. And now, the University of Surrey celebrates its love for Naruto every October by hosting its annual Naruto Run. This means that fans can raise money while running around campus being ninjas. For some, it might be the cringiest thing imaginable, but for others, it'll be a childhood dream come true. These Naruto runs aren't the only time fans have gotten together to raise money for a good cause. It's a great way the community comes together, but there have been cases that the community has come apart and done some truly dreadful things to certain fans. In 2022, Naruto's sequel Boruto lost one of its biggest fans. His TikTok name was Trishiki, and he unfortunately...
Bro, I wouldn't blame him, bro. The anime in Boruto is just tragic, bro. The whole thing was tragic, bro. It was so bad, bro. I couldn't even get past episode 20, bro. After that, I was like, nah, this isn't for me.
He died in a horrific car accident. While the exact details of his death are shrouded in mystery, the world saw the reaction. It was horrible. Trishiki had a following on TikTok for making Boruto-related content. He loved the show, and thus made videos discussing theories, giving his thoughts, and sharing insights about it. However, not everyone likes Boruto. In fact, many people hate it. Every show has its haters, but for some reason, Boruto has thousands. Therefore, somebody dedicating their time to discussing its positives rubbed a few people the wrong way. The reason why Boruto is so hated is a complex one. Some think that the story is too slow. Others think it's too similar to Naruto, and some just hate the character's hairstyles. But to Trishiki, none of that mattered. He followed his heart and posted content anyway. While many of his peers and other Boruto fans mourned his passing and offered condolences, not everyone did. Some Naruto fans acted disgustingly and made fun of his death. Before we get into the heartless reactions from some fans, let's look at what good others had to say. It wasn't just Boruto fans that offered condolences.
You're really spreading, bro. There's legit people out here in the internet just spreading hate to spread hate, bro. Like, legit, bro. They ain't doing anything with their life, so they... Sorry, I was reaching for water. They don't do anything in their life, so they gotta spread hate, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Condolences. Even one of the voice actors from the show made a special video in honor of Trishiki. This is Michael Schwalbe, the English voice actor for a Boruto main character named Kawaki.
This goes out to Trishiki and Trishiki's family and loved ones. I'm so sorry to hear about your loss. From what his friends have told me, Trishiki was a kind, loving person who loved the crap out of Boruto.
It's touching to see Trishiki getting respect from people involved in the show, but that doesn't excuse the dozens of people that bullied him after his death. Be warned, these comments are shocking. On a TikTok post discussing his death, one person wrote, "One less Boruto fan." Another replied lol to a comment saying he should rest in peace. And another hateful person commented, "Bro wasted his life on..."
But they're all hating, bro. They're all hating behind the screen, bro. Like, they don't even show their actual faces, bro. These are not their names. This profile pic, they don't even show their actual faces, bro. Like, bro, people...
Naruto. What's even worse is that his TikTok page was taken down due to the sheer amount of hate comments it received. This means that due to the disgusting reaction from some Naruto fans, we can't even go back and view Trishiki's legacy. It's really sad how the fandom has such bad people contained in it. However, the Naruto fandom also has some very good people. One time, they even came together to help earthquake victims. On the 11th of March 2011, an earthquake struck Japan. It was a disaster. This wasn't just any earthquake, though. It had a magnitude of 9.1, making it the most destructive earthquake ever recorded in Japan. It came to be known as the Great East Japan Earthquake. It destroyed buildings, took thousands of lives, and caused chaos across the country. However, that wasn't even the worst part of it. As the earthquake occurred on the ocean floor, it also produced a colossal wave. This tsunami swept across the east coast of Japan, causing even more death and destruction.
Oh, is this like the big tsunami that happened like in 2011?
What's more, a nuclear power plant was struck by it, and the nuclear material leaked into the surrounding area. Three of its
nuclear power plant too?
Nuclear reactors became unstable, and radioactive water flooded into the towns and cities surrounding it. It was the worst incident in Japanese history. Soon after, all kinds of charitable organizations and all-around philanthropists rushed to aid. Millions were raised, and over time, the damage was repaired, and the people of East Japan were able to go back to their lives. But a year after the disaster, the country was still badly affected, and that's when Naruto stepped in to help. Well, not Naruto exactly, but Crunchyroll, a major anime streaming platform, had stepped in. They thought of a great way.
Y'all don't know this, but Crunchyroll used to be a pirated site, and now it's an actual site, and they're making money, bro. Like, damn.
to help out the victims of the earthquake and also promote
For
Naruto.
Max
On March 9,
Wishes.
2012, the year after the earthquake, Crunchyroll made an announcement. They let the world know that anybody who watched Naruto from the 9th to the 11th of March would be directly helping out the victims. The way it worked is that any profits they made from Naruto streams over that time period would be sent directly to a children's charity. This charity's mission was to aid children affected by the earthquake. So Naruto fans banded together and ensured they watched as much of the show as possible. It was a win-win situation for everyone. While it wasn't disclosed what the exact amount was that was sent to the children's charity, we can't help but think it must have been at least in the 6 figures from all of the fans helping out. Sadly though, as we've seen many times before, many of these same fans who take part in these acts of kindness also have a darker side. Online bullying is a sad reality of the Naruto community, but one time they went absolutely way too far. The year 2014 was huge for Naruto. It was the year where it ended. Well, the manga anyway, as the anime carried on until 2017. But the story wrapped up in 2014, and some fans were seriously upset. Understandably, people became emotional about it. After all, the manga started in 1999, so some people had waited over a decade to see how it ended. But that's no excuse for some of the reactions that followed. While there were many mysteries and unanswered questions that people eagerly wanted answered, there was one that was at the top of everyone's mind, who Naruto's wife would be. As crazy as that sounds, it's true. The question diehard fans wanted to know more than anything else was which girl from the show the main character would
That's
end up with. What's more is that the fans' opinions were split. There were two camps. One group of fans wanted
no. If we're really talking about, it should never have been Sakura. I'm glad it wasn't Sakura. It should have always been Hinata, and I'm gonna be honest, Hinata over Sakura, bro.
Naruto to end up with a girl named Sakura, and others wanted him to end up with a girl called Hinata. Spoiler alert, he ended up with Hinata. As trivial as that may sound, it caused an uproar. The first camp, known as Narusaku, was so outraged that they started writing letters to the author and others involved in the show.
Bro, these are literally like fans, bro. Like legit, you're all upset over characters, legit anime characters ending up together. They're not even real people, bro. And they have nothing to do with your life, bro. Like, why are you? There's no way you're so upset to the degree that you actually like sent hate letters to the creator. Like, what?
These weren't letters of appreciation for creating an amazing series, though. These were horrific letters of hate, along with some death threats. A lot of this was over Twitter, and since Masashi Kishimoto has never used the app, they targeted his assistant instead. They went as far as to demand that he either change the ending or write a new chapter where he fixes it. Of course, that never happened. In fact, his assistant was so upset about all of the hate he was receiving on Twitter that he snapped back. Although he barely speaks English, he wrote a message to the haters in English that said, "Please accept the fact that the creator of Naruto is Kishimoto, and nobody else is going to change that." Still, for a long time after, deranged fans continued to attack the team behind Naruto. It must be said that there's something very ironic about this, since the story of Naruto is all about valuable life lessons like honesty, friendship, and integrity, and seeing loyal fans act like that is very strange. What's even stranger, though, is that some of these fans thought they could use the life.
But the thing is, Naruto's not even mainly about romance. It's about ninjas, bro. Okay, and you're actually mad because you're people you chipped that were anime characters. Anime characters. You're upset over.
Lessons from the show to dodge bullets. That's not a metaphor. I really do mean real bullets. On September 17, 2019, the unthinkable happened. Millions of people made the courageous decision to raid Area 51. They'd had enough. They wanted to know if the government was really hiding aliens. Naruto would also become a huge part in the strangest way.
This was mainly a meme, bro. It wasn't that.
The whole thing started out because of a Joe Rogan interview with a man named Bob Lazar. Lazar claimed that he worked at a top secret military base near Area 51. And after what he said in the interview, people went crazy. It broke the internet. And thus, a Facebook event was launched which invited people to show up outside the airbase and find out for themselves. Area 51 is located deep within the scorching Nevada desert. As you can imagine, getting there isn't easy since the US government purposefully placed it in the middle of an arid desert for a reason. However, its harsh landscape and isolated location aren't the only problems for people planning to invade. They've also got to worry about bullets, missiles, and whatever else the US military has hidden away in there. After all, this is a highly secure military base. They're not just letting any average Joe show up. So the news of the event spread like wildfire.
But this is all meme, bro. People didn't. I think like at most 5 people showed up, bro. No one showed up for this.
Soon, over 1 million people had signed up to go. And the days leading up to it, the world eagerly waited to see what would happen. Would anybody show up? Would they try and raid it if they did? And what would be the military response? These were the questions on everybody's mind. The US military even put out a statement saying that they would resort to using force if anybody did try and enter. But the raiders came up with an idea. They would Naruto run to dodge the bullets, leading to this iconic clip that became a staple of the plan to rush the secret government facility.
Breaks from the at 6:30. Reporting live to Channel 13 Action News.
In the end, the entire event lasted a few days, and from the 17th of September, people were showing up outside of Area 51. It was a mix of cosplayers, influencers, and journalists, but a few were serious. On the last day, a message appeared in the main Facebook group that was organizing the raid. It said, "If we Naruto run, we can move faster than their bullets. Let's see them aliens." Though luckily, it seems nobody was actually brave enough to do it, and we never got to find out if there were really aliens inside Area 51, or if Naruto running would work against bullets. To some, this may be a disappointment, but to others, a relief. I'm sure one person who definitely sided in relief was Naruto's creator, Masashi Kishimoto himself. His creation could have been attached to a major incident. Some people would cry if they knew how much blood, sweat, and tears he put throughout his life to finally create the Naruto series. To see all the hardships he had to face, be sure to watch this video here. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Damn, bro. W video. Why does it take me to a new video? What? Alright, but W video. Let me know what y'all think about the video. I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was gonna be like crazy stuff, bro. Most of it wasn't. There was like, don't get me wrong, there was like.
So right now, I know everyone wants a little
sad
extra
ones.
cash. But isn't some
The dude
boring
who-
side job, side hustle that you do always meets the demand for dates?
Sorry about that, but there was like 2 very sad ones. The first one and then the second one, but the second one ended in a good term because it saved another life. But I thought it was gonna be more crazy stuff, but. Comment down what you like, what you didn't like about the video, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.